Hi, I'm Todd and welcome to Acme Machining. Today we've got a 2010 Cadillac that has catalytic converter efficiency codes on both banks. Now these catalytic converters are about $3,000 a piece here in Canada, plus you've got to install them. And the customer doesn't want to spend that much on his car, it being 13 years old and all. But there's a hack that helps you get around these codes. And I'm going to say it's 99% effective. So I've been doing a lot of them. Haven't had anybody come back and say that it doesn't work. But there's always that first one, right? So there's a little bit of machining here because what I do is I take an 18mm anti-fouler spark plug, or not the spark plug, but the anti-foulers for an 18mm spark plug, and I have to, on these O2 sensors, you're working with the post O2 sensor, so the one behind the catalytic converter. They are the fatter ones. They are almost half an inch. I'll show you later here, but they've got almost a half-inch diameter snout on them. And they've got to fit down the adapter for these anti-foulers. So you can't just drill them because the drill never goes straight. Generally, you usually get a little bit of offset one side or the other, or it drills a triangular hole. So what I do is I put them in the lathe and I bore them to size. So yeah, a little bit of boring machining, but it's still machining, a little bit of car work. And it's a hack that can save you thousands of dollars, like it's going to save this customer. So come along, we're going to have some fun. Okay, good news today. It's February the 2nd, Groundhog Day. And here in Acme, Alberta, we are about 30 minutes away from a critter called Balzac Billy in Balzac, Alberta, just north of Calgary. And he didn't see his shadow, so that means a quick spring is coming, so we're all happy about that. But we're here to see the video. We are happy about spring. So here is our post O2 sensor. This one's from the driver's side, and you'll notice that the end on it is fairly big. A lot of the O2 sensors from here up will only be, well, really the diameter of this snout on the end here, right? So they're about that big. If you got to do that, you can get away with just running a drill. Now this is an anti-fouler. What it's designed to do is if your engine burns a lot of oil, and of course it's 18mm, so it's the older engines. You can get them for the 14 mils too. But the spark plug goes in here sort of like so. Your spark happens in this chamber and hopefully ignites the fuel mixture in your cylinder, and the oil doesn't tend to get in here as much as it would just around a bare spark plug. So we use these. They probably sell more of these now for these cats than they did as actual anti-fouling spark plug for anti-fouling the spark plugs. But the size of this is 0.588. The minor diameter of this is 0.652. I just measured this one, so that's what it is. I didn't look it up to see what it is, but they're not a real good fit, so. But you got what you got to work with, and if I start drilling, I will start drilling this out, but I'm going to bore this hole out. And the reason being is I don't want it getting off center or starting to cut through some of the threads that I've seen happen before. And these are fairly tight under there. Okay, it's only 18 foot-pounds, but if you get, this isn't the best metal, right? snout chromoly or something crazy like that. If you put too much torque on this, after you thin this wall down to about 35 thousandths of an inch, because you only got 70 difference between the two of them, and it's half of that, you could shear that off, and then you're not doing anything. Okay, so I'm going to get into doing this, and I do them when I'm doing these fatter oxygen sensors, I do 2 at a time. Hopefully I'm keeping this in frame. Last video I found that I was out of frame a lot, and I apologize for that. But I'll check the footage here, and if I have to redo it, I have to redo it. But what I do is these larger, fatter oxygen sensors, I do 1 at a time. I'll show you why. Because when I put this in the truck, I can have that sitting like that, and yeah, you can get close, but close only works in horseshoes, hand grenades, and thermonuclear warfare. So what I do is I'll put the 2 of these together. Use my arm. And this here gets my alignment because there's 2 in there. Clamping down on a little over an inch rather than just clamping down on 5/16 or 3/8, whatever that is, approximate. And I'm going to drill through these, and then I'm going to start boring them out until this will fit in through here. And we'll get to that, and I'm going to rearrange things so I can operate the lathe, and hopefully you guys can see what's going on. I don't have a lot. I got to get a camera mount in here for above the lathe, so I'm working on that, but times are tough. So I will rearrange you and get back. So another thing you can do when you want to line these up is I take a drill bit that fits the bore of these, and then I'll slide my steady rests in. And I'll mount them up like that, and that gets me that much closer. So it comes with 1/4 inch hole. I'm going to start off by going up to 3/8. There's not a whole lot that you have to cut through, but goes 1/16 of an inch more here. And I'm doing it in 1/16, so of course next size is going to be 1/2 inch, and then I'll have enough room for the boring head. So. Another reason for boring these is I need to get 588 in there, 0.588. Of course you need a little bit of clearance, and that's a little bigger than a 9/16 drill bit, so you're still going to bore, so I'll save my 9/16 drill bits for when I need it. I'm just using a little boring bar. It's going to be long enough to fit in there. Just under a 1/2 inch hole right now, and I've got that touched off, so I'm going to take about 50 thou, 25 thou on the dowel. For a minute, so you guys can see what's going on. There's wiggling around, but that's handheld. Try not to kick the tripod. Okay, we're at 0.512, so I'm just going to go 20 on the scale this time, which will be a 40 thousandths more cut. We're safe to do that. and more boring and boring. .533. I'm just going to sneak up on this. I've got to get that to fit in there, and you can see I don't have a whole lot of left over when I get that out, but I just walk it down slowly. Give a little bit of oil on her. Well, the camera shut off, so you guys missed a little bit of boring video, but we've got it so this here fits in now. Of course, it comes from the other direction. And I've given myself, I don't know if you can see that or not, but we've got about 10 thou of clearance over top of the oxygen sensor itself. So I'm going to break this down, and I'll get it out and show you how things go together here now. Okay, so you can see how thin the wall is on these, and there's the whole idea of this, is that O2 sensor is shrouded. I'm going to grab my light here, watch it, I'm sorry. But yeah, so you barely see the holes that are in the end of that O2 sensor. So it's shrouded. Plus we're going to take, like I said, we do this here, you need a pair of them. So we put that together, and now the oxygen sensor is buried in here, probably 3/4 of an inch, and it causes it to read slow. Now if you look at the pre-oxygen sensor on a graphing scan tool, I'll see if I can get a screenshot of it here later. It's up and down because it's rich, lean, rich, lean, rich, lean. As soon as it goes rich, its computer switches the engine, the injector's lean, so it switches very quickly. And post-oxygen sensor, all you're supposed to do is see more of a sine wave rather than spikes. So when you're accelerating, it goes rich. When you're decelerating, it goes lean. And that tells the computer that the catalytic converter is doing its job. So by slowing it down a little bit, we can trick it. So I'm not going to be able to get the video camera in to show you putting these in, but keep in mind when you put these in, sorry for getting out of screenshot, I'm terrible at that. I wish I had a video screen so I could watch this rather than just looking at the back of the camera. But you've got to have this much more room. I'll get the caliper in there. I'm not measuring it. But you need 1 3/8 of an extra room for your oxygen sensor to fit up against wherever it is. So keep that in mind. Hopefully you have room. Sometimes you can put a little dent in the floor pan if you need room, but you definitely need the room to get that in there. But there's the trick to doing these. So, and like I said, I can't do it with a drill because any wobble in the drill, and this hole is actually oversized. So I've only got about 30 thousandths of an inch between the valley of the thread and the other side of that hole. So that's not a whole lot to hold this all in place, but it works. So I'll get a I'll get a snapshot of these in place, and then I'll see if I can get a snapshot of the scanner to show you the difference between the post and I might even be able to get a video of the scanner between the pre-cat sensor and a post-cat sensor. So we'll be back. Okay, as they say on Ox Tools, Mr. Bozo come to visit today. You can see that there is a crack there. When I went to screw the two of these together, that metal was too thin and it gave out. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take it out of the oxygen sensor, take the oxygen sensor out of this. I'm putting the two of these together, and I'm going to run a bead of MIG weld around there. So that'll definitely hold that together. But like I said, I'm taking the sensor out first because I don't want to be MIG welding on a sensor and possibly doing something to it. So I'll just weld that up, and like I said, I'll get a shot of this once I am back in the got it installed in the car. I don't have a welding shield for my camera, so I can't show you welding this up, but anyway, we'll get back to you. So the Miller 235 to the rescue. So I'm going to get that in place. I'm going to take a picture of these in place because I can't video me putting them in. There's just no room there. I work off the ground, so we'll be back. Okay, I was actually able to get the video camera down here, and you can see how little room I've got. But as they say, clearance is clearance, so that's all that matters. I'll move over here, and there's the second one in there. Okay, and you got to make sure you clear things like the drive shaft. Like I got a little LED light here. Make sure your wires aren't rubbing on the drive shaft or anything like that, because it's an all-wheel drive car. So that's the last thing you want, is a customer coming back saying that noise wasn't there, and what do you mean I need a $300 oxygen sensor? So okay, I'm gonna get out from underneath here, get this thing sitting down on the ground, and I'll try to get you a shot of the scanner once I get it up and running. Okay folks, I'm going handheld, so hopefully I'm not moving around too much. But the top line is bank 1 pre-cat. And you see how it switches back and forth, back and forth. As soon as it goes up, it starts going back down. The third row down is bank 2 sensor 1. And again, that's pre-cat on bank 2. and it's doing the same thing. As soon as it starts going up, it turns around and goes back down. But if you look at the second line down, you see that it's just a flat line with little bumps, and that there is a slowed down reading. And on the very bottom row, you can see that, yeah, it's bumpy, but it's only got half the bumps of what the line above it does. So that's both bank 2, pre-cat and post-cat. So hopefully the computer will think that the catalytic converter is doing its job on this one. So I thank you for watching this all. Please subscribe, hit the like button, share this. I just checked, my subscribers were at 201, and I thank you all for subscribing and commenting and liking my videos and watching them. Thank you very much again. Have a great day and enjoy.